Hey everybody, what's up from Roll, Minnesota, your state of skate. Hey, I'm Butch Lehman, and today we're in for another episode of Rolling Reactions. Now in today's episode, we're featuring a skater out of England, and a person that I think is incredibly underrated as a blader, and that person is Alex Burston. Now, Alex Burston has a unique combination of both style and technicality, in a way that I think is really rare in modern day skating. Having said that, Alex is an absolute phenom and is able to mix it up in a lot of different terrain. So today we're going to take a look at 3 of his different profiles from 3 different types of skating. The first one is actually the very first video that I've seen from Alex, and that was his part in the ground control video. It's one of my favorites, it's an amazing part, and he has tremendous style and trick vocabulary in it. Secondly, we're going to take a look at his skating in the Elite Series video. And those videos are known for some of the best cinematography when it comes to skating. I've seen Eugen Enen's part in that video, and it's still to this day one of my favorites. As a note, I haven't actually seen Alex Burston's Elite Series 5 part yet, so that one's going to be entirely new to me, and I'm really looking forward to it. That was actually the inspiration for this episode. Lastly, we'll wrap things up by taking a look at his park skills as he chops it up at Bone Skate Park. And I've always been jealous of that park. That park looks so much fun. That's my kind of skating. So on that note, I'm incredibly excited for this one, and I invite you to come along with me as we roll into it. Let's check it out. All right, our first section is the ground control video, and this was a fantastic video with an all-star lineup. I would highly recommend this video to anybody that has never seen it in its entirety. And Alex is out here playing with the pigeons at the start of his video. And he's ready to spread his own wings and fly, and that's something you're going to see in this section. Just trust me on that. Look how steep this curve is, and he's able to hold the true topsoul just locked in perfectly, full cab out. I mean, that's really how it's done, and he just takes a seat right afterwards, which is fully understandable because when you lace it that well, you know that that trick is over. Like, you can take a seat after that. Yeah, I forgot how good this section is. It's been a while since I've seen this one, but again, this is one of my favorite videos from this era of skating. And I also have to call out some of the Razor skates here. I think this was also one of the golden eras for different types of skates from Razors. You had the different Brian Aragon Pro skates. Right there, I think those were the Don Bambrick ones, which were probably my personal favorite design from Razors. And Alex Burston actually got his own Razor Pro skate as well. And that one I always wanted to get my hands on and just never did. So, I don't know, maybe someday I'll find a pair of those lying around somewhere on Blade Trade or something and finally fulfill that dream. But speaking of flying earlier, I told you he was going to fly, and these are a couple tricks that prove it. Going over the rail and into the bank there. By the way, 3 TP is not an easy trick by any stretch of the imagination, and that obstacle was probably not the ideal obstacle to do it on, but he made it look easy. Alley-oop top horn going both directions, showing off that technicality. Just landing the 450 out. He's got a friend that's hyped after that, and that's what you love to see out skating, is having that camaraderie and that shared energy. That's one of my favorite things about skating, especially when other people are involved, is just having that flow off of each other. That trick I just really like right there, dropping down in the true topsoul. Again, that's a trick that Alex Burston does really well, are all the soul variations. That's the way I like to see fishies done too. He got the grab in there, mute grab out, little crossover. And check this one out too, like, how often do you see somebody do a pair of drop rails in a line? I mean, for Alex Burston, that wasn't even as an ender clip, that was like a filler clip in the middle of the section. Although I would be hesitant to call any of these tricks filler tricks. True spin soul. That one is not an easy true spin. I know there's some people out there that are pretty confident and comfortable with it. I am definitely not one of those people. Like that, just dropping down into the true spin soul. All right, we got a top acid on the first rail, to TTA on the second rail. You know, I don't know how everybody feels about that, but I personally love when people do lines and there's a symmetry between the tricks, like a certain parallelism, like you did the fish brain there to the true fish brain. And that's what I really like. Got the true top soil and then the switch true top soil. If you can do them both regular and switch back to back, or do 2 variations of the same grind, for some reason that just appeals to my like meticulously organized personality. I know I've gotten some heat from that from guys in the past, and when they ask me for trick recommendations or line recommendations, that's usually what I tell them is something that has some parallelism to it. This must have been at a competition. And if it was, which I guess clearly it is, what an intimidating spot choice. Like, that's got to be a last spot, I would hope. Not something that I think I would want to session for very long, that's for sure. All right, next up is the Elite Series profile. This one I haven't seen yet, so I'm pretty excited for this. I already know that the cinematography is going to be top-notch. It always is in these videos. Got a drop rail to start things off, and I can already tell that this is a different Alex Burston style than what we saw in the ground control video. But just looking at it, looks incredibly compact, controlled, and that's something from this new, like, modern era of skating that I really appreciate. Even though the tricks and the technicality aren't always my style of skating, I love how controlled everything looks. I think it's a really good look for blading, and Alex Burston is a great example of that. Like, just look at the way he landed that full cab out. Just really nice. Speaking of really nice, a good fish brain is always really nice. He's just holding this one forever. Dang. And he jumped over the curb too. That's bonus points. Has to be. Yeah, you get these types of, like, montage city shots, establishing shots, character-driven shots. Wow, that one was really cool too. And it's that kind of stuff that I think makes all the difference. Okay. I don't know what it is about, like, 360 tricks on ledges and transfers over, but that last trick might be my favorite trick. Like, it's going to be hard for something to top that. That was really sick. It's like 360 soul to far side, alley-oop soul or something like that. I don't know, but I got to watch that one again. That was really cool. Really long B-Roy. Going over the rail. Again, showing off that compact, controlled style. Oh, whoa. It's like a backslide stall to backslide down. Underbars. Never really been confident skating wall rails or underbars, so seeing him sessioning those back-to-back is definitely a little bit discomforting for me, but I appreciate it. Stylish. Definitely stylish. Like, that's a word you're probably going to hear from me more than you're going to want to, but nice 540 there. Cool architecture shots as well, and some wheel shots. What are you thinking, TTP? That's a trick I've always loved. Got the full cab out. All right, revert to forward. I can appreciate that too. Just holding that right out there, pointing it right at the camera. Guys, take notes. That's how to do a fish brain and a backslide right. If you're going to grab it, which personally I encourage you to. I think the rule that says you have to grab tricks is overrated. I personally appreciate them more when they're grabbed. And if you're going to grab them, you got to rocket that out, point it right at the camera, let them know that you're grabbing. Leave no doubt. Over the curb on that one. What the one was for if that was like first try. I wouldn't doubt it. I mean, that's a trick that Alex Burston probably has down pretty easily. It's a back farv. Still a pretty big gap out though. Intimidating spot for sure. Royale down. It's a pretty cool looking spot. Did he just break the wall? I saw sand or dust or like the brick explode underneath him. TP. To front torque. That's not a switch up I think I've seen very often. It's kind of a weird one. That's a steezy back torque right there, and I'm glad they got the second angle in there because that second angle was so good. P-star line. Come on, give me one more P-star. Yes. We kept the consistency there, boys. Oh, I love this angle. It's like looking through a Robert Frost palm. The English teacher in me is probably shining through here, but definitely the path, not the path less traveled there. Is that the end of the video? No, it doesn't look like it. Got Raphael from the Ninja Turtles. Oh, that is the end. Well, I was really impressed with that. Looks like there's some outtakes and some B-roll here at the end. Again, the style is really amazing. Alex Burston, incredibly underrated if you ask me. And there's some tricks in there that left me dumbfounded. That's one way to do a fish, I guess. Personal favorite, I think, was that 360 sole. All right, let's wrap things up with a look back at the parks. You guys know I'm really more of a park skater than a street skater, even though I've done both. But park has a special spot in my heart, especially when they're ramp style skating. And this park just looks so fun. Like flat spin 540s, launch box. I need more launch box in my life. Giant wall ride to fakie. Kink box. Like, this is my ideal setup. If I were to just like conjure my own skate park setup out of thin air, I could skate stuff like this all day. And that's kind of looks like what Alex Burston is doing as he's throwing casual hurricane topsoles. Again, making the fish look easy and really good at it. Not really sure what's going on there. Was there a hole in the wall or like a brick missing that he just stalled? Great grab on the true spin fish. True spin fish, one of my personal favorite tricks. It's a trick that always looks good, and especially if you can get that grab in there and get those bonus style points, you're going to impress people, but you're also going to feel like a blade god when you land something like that. Just a really satisfying trick to lock into. That, I mean, he's just killing the fishes in this. Yes, yes, full cab in. That is not easy to do, especially off the wall plant, but he just committed to that over-the-shoulder rotation and just kept churning it through. That's something that I do a lot is TTPs, but getting that full cab through requires a lot of commitment, so I like seeing that one. Ooh, rough sweaty. And a tea kettle. That's what we call it here. I don't know if that's universal, but top side TP, or rough TP. Tea kettle, top tea kettle. That one I love. That's a trick that I do regularly is the full true topsole. Tagging in a friend for that one. Hurricane TP. Was that hard spin mistrial? Oh, I didn't even see the vert ramp in here. Okay, so fun thing about those cess slides, those always remind me of Dominic Sagona. And you guys can correct me if I'm wrong about this, but I think it was from the ASA tour. There were videos that were on TV as a kid, and I had recorded them. And I saw a lot of clips of Dominic Sagona doing those cess slide variations and then jumping back into the ramp. And so whenever I was a kid, that was always something I tried to emulate. I'm sure it didn't look anywhere near as good as Dominic Sagona, but I always thought I was being creative and stylish by trying to emulate one of my favorite pros. So, amazing section, some great park skating, and ultimately, what's not to like about that? If I can get a mix of park and street, I think I've done my job. Anyway, guys, that's going to do it for this video on Alex Burston. There are so many other great profiles out on him that I could have covered, and probably should have, but that's what I'm going to leave to you guys. I'm going to give you some homework. Go check out Alex Burston. He is just bursting with style, if I do say so myself. I know, terrible pun. But it's true. It really is. And so I hope he's doing well out there in England, representing the rollerblading scene across the waters, across the big pond that we call the Atlantic. Alex, appreciate you, man, and everything you've put into skating over the years. Anyway, guys, that's going to wrap it up for this one. I'm Butch Lehman of Roll, Minnesota. Thanks for checking out this episode of Rolling Reactions. Until next time, remember to stay safe, stay healthy, and get out there and do some rollerblading. Until next time, everybody, peace.